In Pittsburgh, where night one of the draft is officially in the books. And the New York Jets, they were busy. Pick 2 and 16, that we knew. But then Darren Muji gave us a curveball at the end of night one, trading back into the first round, shades of the 2022 draft for the New York Jets. And this time the Jets select a wide receiver with their trade in to round one. Omar Cooper Jr., the final pick for the Jets at number 30 after they took tight end Kenyon Sadiq at 16, and David Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech, was the pick at number 2. So the Jets come away with Bailey, Sadiq, and Cooper. And I think if you're a Jet fan, you have to be cautiously optimistic about what this team did during night one of the draft. For everyone who wanted Arvell Reese, myself included, we cannot dispute what David Bailey is as a pass rusher. We cannot dispute what David Bailey brings to the table as someone that could get after the quarterback. He led college football in sacks, tackles for a loss, pressure percentage. The analytics jump off the chart. The production was there. His career pressure rate is 18.7%, which is tops among FBS players since 2016. This guy was an outstanding prospect. He's a pure edge rusher. There's no guesswork. Twitchy athlete. Excellent get off, ran the 40 in 4.5 seconds, fastest by any player at 250 plus pounds. Ironically, Bailey was the player that was about to run the 40 when Aaron Glenn got caught sleeping. But hey, it didn't matter because Glenn saw the number, he saw the tape, and he said, that's my guy. Kenyon Sadiq, little more of a question mark here, right? You're projecting with him. He is a big slot. He is a pass catcher. Yes, his position is tight end, but he is someone that's going to offer a lot more than what a traditional tight end will offer. Think of him like McBride in Arizona. Think of him like Bowers with the Raiders. Think of him like Fannin with the Browns. This guy is a big slot. He's a weapon. He's a guy that hopefully sets up mismatches on the outside, and he's a guy that can help this team score points. Simple. Like, this guy's a playmaker. 13 catches of 20-plus yards in 2025. I don't think his blocking is as bad as some said. Did I love it at 16? Look, Mekhi Lemon was there. Ironically, Omar Cooper Jr. was there. Denzel Boston was there. And the Jets felt like they had conviction with Sadiq. I heard Darren Muji say that they have a real plan for him. We will see. I think Frank Reich and his ability to maximize what Kenyon Sadiq can do, that's the biggest question with that pick. But as far as value, look, this was a guy that was projected to go maybe in the top 10. The Jets got him at 16. And then the final move they made, Omar Cooper Jr. Look, if you saw my instant reaction to this one, you know I was giddy. I think Omar Cooper Jr. is a playmaker. You just can't bring him down. I've heard people say he's Deebo Samuel's light. You watch the tape, you see a lot of that. The explosiveness, the competitiveness. He's tough to bring down. He's a guy that is going to make the Jets a way better football team. He just is. And the fact that you got him after you already added Sadiq, it backed up what we thought the Jets were going to do in this draft. They spent money in the offseason to fix this defense. And we knew at 2 they were going to take one of the defensive players. We knew it was either going to be Arvell Reese or David Bailey. We knew that. But the Jets went out there, and then from that point on, they did what we thought they were going to do, what they needed to do. They addressed the offensive playmaker position. And that's how I describe Sadiq. He's not a receiver. He's not a tight end. He's a playmaker. And the Jets, look, I know it's crazy to think about, but Breece Hall, your running back. Garrett Wilson, a number 1 wide receiver. A.D. Mitchell, a nice piece in that room. Let's say he's wide receiver 3. Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr., Mason Taylor at tight end. He's your inline tight end. Let's run some 12 personnel with him and Sadiq. You have players on this offense. Now, the Jets are not bereft of talent for once. The Jets have made moves to become a better football team. It's a novel concept, I know, but they have added legitimate pass catchers to their team, and they added a guy who's arguably the best pass rusher in the draft. I think if you're a Jet fan, you have every right to be cautiously optimistic with what they did in night 1. Now, would it be nice to have pick 33 tonight for us to discuss? Oh, are they going to take Ty Simpson? Well, that's not happening. Congrats to Ty on going to the Rams. You know, would it be nice to have pick 33? We could debate, should they trade out and get a third and get some value, or just take whoever the best player is? Maybe it's Denzel Boston. Maybe it's one of the guards that's sitting there. Pregnon or Brisantis, whoever. We could have the debate. We could have the conversation. I think getting Omar Cooper Jr. was worth trading pick 33. Because if you look at what the Jets traded, they traded 33 and they traded a 5th-round comp pick they owned. They still have their 2 forts. They still have pick 44 of round 2. Who's to say the Jets don't trade out a 44 and get a 3rd rounder that way? Look, I love what the Jets did with the Cooper trade up. I think it's so smart to get him. 1, you now have him for 5 years under team control. You get the 5th-year option on him. 2, the Buffalo Bills were going to take him. The Buffalo Bills traded down immediately after the Jets selected Cooper. That was their guy. Good job by Darren Muji having the intel to understand that's what Buffalo was doing. So I think if you're a Jet fan, you have every right to be cautiously optimistic. You also could say, look, until they win, none of this matters. I get that. But you know what? If you're one of the 1,000 people that's watching a Jet YouTube show when it's about to be midnight right now, you want to have something to believe in. You want to have some hope. And I think we got some of that tonight. Again, I didn't love the Sadiq pick. I understood it, but I didn't love it because I wanted a receiver. They got me a receiver. So now I got to put my faith in Darren Muji, and I got to put some of my faith in Frank Reich. And you know what? Geno Smith, if he's protected, which I believe he will, I think he could get the ball to Kenyon Sadiq and Mason Taylor. Now, I wanted Mekhi Lemon. I'll be the first to tell you. And the Eagles taking about 20 doesn't make me feel great because they know what they're doing. But I think ultimately their process to get here, maybe a little shaky how we got here, but I think you have to like where we ended up. Again, they got the best pass rusher in the draft, and they got 2 legit weapons. And I will read you guys a text I got from someone that is in the scouting community in the NFL, because I think the Jets are getting a ton of praise from non-Jet fans and people that work in football. Quote, incredible Jets value, great 1st round from Mooj. That was a text from someone that works in scouting in the NFL. Again, I think the Jets had a good night. I mean, I think we could be excited. It's been a while. All right. And when the Jets took Cooper, I actually went, yeah. Like I was like, whoa, I'm doing this for something Jet related. I didn't know what that was like. You know, I felt like, my guy Richie from Jets Media. I was hyped up when they got Omar Cooper. It's been a while since I got positive Jet vibes from something the team did and not just celebrating our great fan base, So, look, I think if you're a Jet fan, you have every right to be cautiously optimistic. I'm not going to say we're winning the Super Bowl. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, Super Bowl, here we go. Or, even this team winning like 9 games, I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I think it's a good start to what the Jets have going for them. We're going to get to your calls as well on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline. Jet fans, how we feeling? I think you have every right to be cautiously optimistic. And if you want to be someone who just says, I don't care, they got to win games when it matters, I understand that too. But I talk about this team every day, and I try to offer honest analysis in real time. And in real time, my reaction is, I thought the Jets had a good night. I would have went with Reese. I would have taken Lemon at 16, but you know what? They went with Sadiq. Okay, weapon, can't fault you there. You have a high grade on him. He's a great – if anyone's ever heard Kenyon Sadiq be interviewed, you're going to fall in love with him. And Omar Cooper Jr. is a dog. All right, that was the best move they made tonight, in my opinion. So I feel good. Let's hear from the head coach and the general manager of the New York Jets. They spoke moments ago. We head live to One Jets Drive, where the Mooj and Aaron Glenn are standing by.
Exciting night. We'll just jump right into it. Any questions?
Hey, Chief, well, first for both of you, Darren, with Bailey, I mean, obviously the raging debate was, the experience and the production versus the potential and whatnot. Can you talk a little bit about what stood out with Bailey for you guys?
Yeah, I would say this. Both of those guys, because we're talking about those 2 guys, are really good players. Listen, Arvell's going to have a really good career in this league. But when you just continue to evaluate those guys, we just felt like Bailey fit us better when it comes to he's a 6'4", 255-pound man with 34-inch arms that has a ton of production in college. Listen, we looked at all those things, and, he fits us.
Was Sadiq, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Was Sadiq one of those value picks where you stick to the value board and you go, wow, we can't pass this?
Yeah, absolutely. Sadiq was a player that obviously we studied, spent a lot of time on, and valued as an offensive weapon. And when he was there, it was really a no-brainer for us just to add another weapon to the offense. And Frank's got a great vision for the player and how we can use him in multiple ways and get in 12 personnel and do different things and just use him as another weapon and make it tough on the defense. So.
How rare is it to have a guy like that who can stretch the field but also is a willing blocker too in Sadiq?
Yeah, that's one thing that, like, I think a lot of people are surprised. You assume, you look at the tag, right? He's 240 pounds. He ran 4.39. Oh, this is just going to be an F. He's going to be out there split. When this guy's in line, he's a good blocker, not just a serviceable blocker. He's a good blocker, and you said it. That just adds to his value and versatility.
He's going to be able to. We're going to be able to dictate as far as the defense is concerned. On what are you going to play? You can be in base. You can be in nickel. And he brings that value to us. Man, there are so many positions that he can play for us. That's going to make us be able to open up the offense, and Frank has a really, really good vision for this player. So, man, I'm looking forward to going against this player, doing training camp. So it'll be fun.
You guys obviously felt like you had enough, like you said, information to cancel the visit with David. So, I'm curious, like, what was it about your conversations with him over the course of this process where you thought, okay, we're very comfortable with him and the idea of taking him?
Well, obviously at the combine, we had conversations with him, and that was only 20 minutes. But when you go to his pro day and be able to go out to eat dinner with him, man, you can really dig deep into who he is as a person. And, man, we got a lot of information about who he is. And then we had guys from Stanford, that coach for us, and they know about the guy. So we felt really comfortable with drafting the guy, too.
I also had a really good Zoom call with the player as well, so we had multiple touch points and felt really good about it.
A lot of people talk about Bailey's get off, his twitch and
Yep.
so forth. I'm wondering, how do you evaluate that trait? Like, how good is it, and how does that fit into the kind of defense you want?
Well, just first step quickness, and that's obvious when you watch the tape. The way he's able to beat tackles around the edge, but don't take him for a guy that could just rush with speed around the edge. Man, there are several long arms, there are several power things that he's done, within his game that allows him to be able to show that he can rush with power. So, listen, we're going to try to unlock everything that he can. I mean, obviously we have some really good coaches that's going to be able to help him. And we're really excited about that. We're really excited about all three of the players that we got.
How important was it to address the pass catching position when, I think everybody made a big deal about nothing happened in free agency at that spot. Now you got two today. How important was that for you guys?
It was definitely important, but we were still stacking the board with players that we think can help us and their overall value. Talking about Sadiq and just as an overall weapon, and he was there, and we think this is great value to add to the offense. And then Omar Cooper was a guy that we had good grades on, and when we saw him there towards the end, an opportunity to give up a comp fifth, pick 179 to get back up and get the fifth-year option, just make sure we got our guy. We felt really good about that. Again, to add another weapon, a guy that's got rack, strong hands, can insert block, has a little versatility to play inside and outside. So feel really good about those two additions for the offense.
Here's what also is critical. Here's what's critical about those three players is they come from winning programs also. So when you get a chance to bring that into your locker room, man, it speaks volumes. I mean, Omar, and we all seen against Penn State when he made the game-winning catch. Man, you saw the things that Bailey did as far as the forced fumbles and things like that. You saw Sadiq and his rack. Man, all those guys has done something within their career. They either won the game, they take over a game, but they come from winning programs, and that was huge to be able to get guys like that.
Darren, the assumption was all along, and from many people, was you were going to come out of here with an edge rusher and potentially a receiver. The fact that you got Sadiq in there with these three, could things have fallen any better because the receivers kind of slid down a little bit for a while?
Yeah, it's exciting. We're definitely happy with the way it fell. There's no doubt about that because we know the more weapons we have, the better chance we have on offense, and just to do different things like Coach mentioned. You can give defenses problems with the versatility of these guys that we're adding.
Did you get any, when you were on for this number 2 pick, any calls?
Didn't get any calls. Had a lot of conversations leading up to it, but nothing serious, and didn't get any calls.
Aaron, how is Bailey against the run, and
how is he against the run?
As a 3 down?
Yeah, I think he did a good job when you watch him at Tech. Listen, there's some things he got to improve on, just like any player that's coming in. But, man, listen, we have 4 guys, 4 edges. Well, actually more than that. But with those 4 guys that we have on the team, man, they're going to be able to cause some damage for us. So I'm looking forward to coaching those guys. Again, we have to make sure everybody comes in, understand exactly what to do with the scheme, but he's going to fit right in with us.
Aaron, what do you think about the depth of the tight end room? I mean, you talked
Yeah.
you thinking Mason was going to be a huge year.
Yeah.
And now you went out and got
Yeah, and Darren just said it, man. Just to be able to have another weapon on our offense that gives Geno a chance to be a point guard, to be deliver the ball to these guys is huge. And anytime you can build your tight end room the way that we have, it allows you to get in different type of packages, but be able to force the defense to, okay, so what are you going to do now? And if you get in nickel, we get a chance to run the ball. You get in base, then we get a chance to throw it. So, man, it's going to be exciting, to have him and the rest of those tight ends we have on the game at the same time.
What, for AG,
Yep.
you don't see teams get 3 first-round picks that often. Now, it did happen here 4 years ago,
Yeah.
22, but really it's only happened like maybe 3-4 times
Yep.
in team history. What, from a big picture standpoint, what does it mean? You're trying to get this rebuild going here just to get these 3 guys. What does it do for the acceleration of the program?
I think it's something that that I've talked about before is when you have targets, you identify guys you like, you love, you go get them. And that's exactly what we did today. And anytime you could bring guys with a winning background on your team, that only helps the morale of your team. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But, man, to get 3 first-round picks and the caliber of guys that we got, the personality, the mentality, the football character, all those things are huge, bringing those guys on our team.
Was there a maturity level in those 3 guys that was like a common thing there? Because we heard about, David and how advanced he is. I think he graduated in 3 years or something like
Yeah.
that. Was there a maturity level you saw?
No doubt. I mean, I know I felt that when I met all of those players that we're talking about here, that you definitely felt a mature level of professionalism to those guys, which is good. You feel good about that.
Darren, when did you know Bailey was the guy?
We had discussions all the time leading up to it, right? And we were never going to make a decision until we had to. I think the last few days, it started to crystallize for us and become, pretty concrete, we knew. But we never want to make a decision until we absolutely had to. So it was in the last few days. It's good discussions.
Take a couple more.
So what was the thinking in canceling the visit? Was there some poker? Were we playing a little poker there?
No, it wasn't. It was like I said earlier. There was a lot of different reasons. We were juggling really all 30 of them. We had good touch points, as Coach mentioned. I had a great Zoom with him. Didn't feel the need
Did you
to
not
do
want
it.
to make him fly cross country?
No, he was bouncing around. He would have been fine flying in, but yeah, it wasn't anything like I mentioned before.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow. All right, Asmaniacs, listen up for a second. No matter what you're watching, whether it's New York sports or any game you didn't plan on caring about, there's no better way to stay locked in than with PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy made simple. You're just picking more or less on player projections. That's it. No complicated lineups, no nonsense. Just you versus the numbers. And here's why I love it. Even if it's a game you normally wouldn't care about, once you got a lineup going, you're locked in. Every play matters, every drive matters, every at-bat matters. I've been mixing sports too. Maybe a little football, throwing some baseball, maybe some basketball, and now you've got action across the board all night, and PrizePicks makes it even better with features like early cash outs if your picks are hitting, the ability to mix multiple sports in one lineup, and you can even see what other people are playing and tail their picks. So if you haven't tried it yet, what are you doing? Download the PrizePicks app right now. Use code HMA. That's HMA, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, it's HMA on PrizePicks. PrizePicks, where it always feels good to be right. A couple takeaways I had from listening to Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. One, it is clear that David Bailey ultimately was their pick because they felt like he fit what they wanted better. Now, you can interpret that a couple of different ways, but fit us better to me is code for we didn't necessarily take the best player. We took the guy that we think could be impactful right away, and we don't want to mess around. We could question that process, but let's see what David Bailey ends up being. Of course, Arvell Reese ends up going to the New York Football Giants. So Bailey and Reese, they were always going to be compared to one another. But now, I mean, you're talking about two players that are going to be forever linked to one another. That's going to be obviously Bailey and Reese. But again, Bailey is a guy that could get after the quarterback. I think the comments from Glenn there about how they think they could coach him up against the run is notable. I like David Bailey. I wasn't going to kill the Jets if they took him. I just think it's fair to wonder about the process that got us here. Again, if you're going to draft him second overall, wouldn't you want to spend every minute around the guy you can? They canceled the top 30 visit. I know Muji said in that presser that he had a Zoom with him. They met with him at the combine, all that. But a little curious they didn't have a top 30 visit with him. But ultimately, they took him. But the one thing I'll say about Bailey, we don't need to pretend like he's not good. You know what I mean? Like, again, I wanted Arvell Reese, but we don't need to act like David Bailey was not an elite prospect. If he didn't go 2, he was probably going 3. Remember that. Some other notes from the presser here that I want to hit before we get to some of your calls. I thought Glenn's comment about getting guys from winning programs, I thought that was interesting. The Jets, it's no secret, they have been losers for a long time. You know, there's a stench that is in that building, at that stadium, all right? And it's not just New Jersey that smells. Sorry, New Jersey. All right, like the Jets, like their odor of losing is everywhere. And to try and change that, what they have done this offseason is add veterans who know what they're doing, who bring intangibles and leadership. Demario Davis, Micah Fitzpatrick, David Onyemata. These guys have been in the league for a long time. They're pros. All right, you already added Harrison Phillips, who will have a captain on it, the C on his chest. They needed leaders. Leadership was important. Winning backgrounds was important. That was important in their draft picks tonight. I mean, Bailey played on a team that was in the college football playoff. Sadiq played on a team that was in the college football playoff. Omar Cooper played on the team that didn't lose a game and won the national title. All right, enough said. And these guys, I thought it was a good line by Glenn when he talked about the fact that each of these players have had moments in their careers where they've taken over a game. I thought that was an interesting way to put it. In terms of the Sadiq pick, Muji essentially confirmed there was never any doubt. Like, he was the best player on their board. We know they had a clear need at receiver, but by taking Sadiq and then trading back into the first round for Omar Cooper Jr., that tells you all you need to know, that Sadiq was clearly their number one pass catcher when they were sitting there on the clock at 16. Like, it's not even a debate. Like, they knew, hey, pick 16, Kenyon Sadiq is better than Omar Cooper. He's better than Mekhi Lemon. He's better than Denzel Boston. He's the guy we're taking. He's better than Casey Concepcion.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.